Hello, good morning and or good afternoon, my friend around the globe. My name is Michel John Baptiste, and I have a new video for you today. And the topic is walking on your true self. The topic we have for today is walking on your true self. Oh, that's very important. We can have maybe a good couple minutes or hour or together and share some idea or what I got in my mind. Working on your true self is very important, and as a human being, it's very important to identify ourselves. It's very important to know who we are exactly. Working on your true self is like find out to know who you really are, or is like identify yourself. In other words, it's a great topic. We're gonna share idea with one another. Uh, Working on your true self, if there is true self, maybe can I say there is fake self? I'm not really sure. But working on your true self is like when you try to identify yourself, when you try to work on your mind and on your spirit and soul. And working on your true self. It's like when you try to do your best to promote yourself in a different dimension, to promote yourself in different level in life or in dimension. Exactly, everything like based on spirituality. When I say that, working on your true self, well, because in life we have like what we call or three like three-dimensional aspect of mankind. I will share video on that. We have mind, we have spirit, and we have soul, or etc. We have mind, spirit, and soul, or whatever you want to put first. So what happened when you're working on your true self? You do your best to discover yourself, to know who you really are exactly as a human being, and you do your best to promote your try to understand your what is what the mind is about, what your soul is about, what your spirit is about, and your three components, as a true human being. So we need to work on that, and today I'm gonna do my best to share ideas and thoughts according to the best of my ability or to my friend around the globe. And we need that. I need that for myself. I need to know who I am. I need to know where I come from. I need to know where I'm going. What is next for me as a human being? That's very important. Or your true self, you really, really understand your true self. That when you discover you as a human being and discover yourself, find yourself, listen to yourself. Sometimes you have internal, or sometimes you can listen to yourself. You hear you hear exactly voice and etc. Now you move to different dimension and you try to understand your mind, like I said, your soul and spirit. Working on your true self, you do the best to develop some ability. In other words, to know exactly who you really are, to know, not only where you come from, but to know who you really are exactly. Find out about your existence and find out to see if you are living or you are really exist, or if you can put like exist and living together. That's very, 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 very important. Working on your true self. Because when you're working in your true self, not only you invest in yourself in the visible world, but you invest in yourself in the invisible world. And what is most important, the invisible world is the one who's gonna determine your visible world. That means everything you see in the visible world is like a copy. It's something point out from the invisible world. So as a human being, we have like visible part as our body, and we have the mind, we really close to the body, or can say to the brain. For me, I consider the mind as the essence of the brain, because you can see the brain, but you can't see the mind. If you open your head, for example, if your head get distorted like they use in anatomy or whatever, and you will see the gray matter, but you will not see the mind. That means the mind is the essence of the brain. And that's my consideration, etc. But when you walking on your true self, now you really reveal, you find out how to reveal who you really are. Are you really just the body or that flesh, that component, while the body is just a vessel to carry the whole you, the true you? Exactly. That's why it is important, maybe to understand the invisible world. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we need or to practice spirituality. We need, maybe some people they invest the same way. Like, let's say that. Let's put it together. The same way we are invest in the visible world, the same way we need to invest in the invisible world. That means the same way we invest for our body, the physical part we see, we work hard every day, we do business, we all of that we are doing it just for to promote the flesh, the mass, the mass, to promote the flesh, etc. Or the body. But what about the soul? What we cannot see, what the real us, And the best way to get that, we have to connect. The same way we connect to the visible world, in the same way we need to connect to the invisible world. And we must have problems sometimes because we are not really connected to the invisible world. Because everything is about the invisible world. It's about the invisible world. And the visible world is a result of the invisible world. Let me repeat it one more time. The visible world is a result of the invisible world. That's why we need to tap in the visible world. That's very important. To do that, maybe we need to practice spirituality. Maybe you need a guidance. Maybe you need to read a couple books. Maybe we need to practice yoga and try to. In other words, you just need to find out how you can, how you're gonna invest what we call faith. Because the faith is the only masterpiece we have, make us believe something what we don't see or what we cannot touch, what we really knows or believe, understand, exist. But when we start developing some relationship, so you're gonna see yourself in a different level, in different dimension, in different category, experiences, etc. You move forward with your life, and all of that gonna help you to know if you are living and to know if you are exist. Okay, working on your true self. You are working on your true self, that when you sought for the truth about you as a living human being. You need to, that's very important. We need to sort the truth about, I need to sort for the truth about myself, find out where I come from. Do that really like do I really like just somebody be come from with my father and my mother, or they just help to bring me here? It's important to find out about that, to know who Michelet really is, to know who I really are. I mean, we need to sort as a living human being, as a living organism. We need to search, find out, invest in our mind, invest in our spirit, and invest in our soul. But what is most important about that? Because when you invest in when I invest in my mind, because my mind will make me understand my environment, my mind. Because like I said, we came here like with a pure mind, with a mind with spotless, etc. But we accumulate knowledge and understanding everything from our society or from our environment. But I didn't say the mind is blank, but I say pure. That's remember, there is a great difference between a pure mind, a mind with spotless, and a blank mind, or a mind who doesn't have anything. So, and what we accumulate in our society, and we bring it back to the society. That's why environment is very important, and I don't want to open that topic right now because it's so broad to speak about it. But it's very important to know your environment, like I always said. And when you invest in your mind, because your mind will help you to understand your environment, because you accumulate stuff from the environment, you fill the mind with what you get from the environment, and now, or when you are aware about your environment, and now when you bring back to stuff, I mean, when you bring back stuff to the environment, so now your conscious active now, your conscious getting active, so you know when things happen, you know what's going on, you know what you need to do, what you have to do, etc. But and from that situation, you might act sometimes, we might act positive or we might act negative in our environment. But at the same time, what happened to the inside the consciousness, the conscious make you understand what you, or I mean, what you really do, and you understand that you, because you acknowledge that, in other words. Or and what happened, the subconscious. So now what the subconscious does, is the subconscious pretend is sleeping. The subconscious pretend it is sleeping, but at the same time, after the action happened, the subconscious, I mean, reach the conscious, and to tell the conscious, you act negative. Your action is not good. It's not. Don't keep practice that. That's why you see sometimes people feel like remorse. And what happened? Or people feel remorse, or people feel repent about what they do. They say remorse, they regret what they do, and repent, they say, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, etc. And now the same subconscious, he went to the soul too. That's why the soul become like sad. That's why you have the sadness and the soul and the spirit, etc. Because the emotion sit down right there in the soul. So that's why. And what happened now, because I talked to you a little bit about the mind and the subconscious, and the subconscious. Now the soul, which I really consider as a bridge, which connect the mind with the spirit, and whatever happens in the soul, it can affect the spirit and it can affect the mind at the same time. But that's why we need to work on that. We need to work on that. Or for you need to sort for the true about yeah, this is when you work on your true self. Work on your true self, you do your best to identify you. Because if there is true self, like I said, maybe there is fake self, but that's not really true. Your true self, that when you find out who you really are as a human being, because you have mind, you have soul, and you have spirit. And your mind, do your best to know how to accumulate stuff from your environment, how you want to build your mind, people you want to hang out, community you want to invest your time, your energy. Remember, whatever you invest in the mind is gonna reflect back the community. In your soul, where the intellect, where the soul, where the emotion sit down, you know, and the intellect and the knowledge, I mean the move you can make it, how you use strategy and find out how to get things, how to overcome, how to be a true professional, how to become like a true caregiver, you work with your soul, how to become like a real singer, when you sing, people see you not faking, because you are it you I mean you have it from your soul, from the bottom of your soul. Um, the spirit, which is very important, the spirit always positive. It just we need the mind and the soul need to be ready for the spirit to do his job. What the spirit does, the spirit is the one who connect us to the invisible world. That's why the spirit is very important. That's why the spirit have some category, have some characteristic like the soul, because The spirit and the soul that they are the like or the we can consider as the invisible part of mankind, because the spirit is the one who connects us to the invisible one. Is the spirit. That's why the spirit is very important. That's why we need to keep the soul and the mind in a positive manner, so the spirit can enjoy the soul and can enjoy the mind. And when the spirit enjoy the soul and enjoy the mind, you will see as a complete human being, we live in a great harmonization. You can connect to the invisible world. You can hear voices. Like it's like you form like a as a ordinary person, and now you are experimenting extraordinary thing. Why? Because the spirit connects you to the invisible world. And the God who created human being, who creates or created, whatever I want to say, with whatever tense I want to put it, but human being is still, I mean, like back and forth, baby keep coming. So I mean, God creates, is still future, present, past, etc. So we really connect because God is extraordinary. That's why I want to say God is an extraordinary God. So God is an extraordinary God. We as human beings, when our mind, our soul, our spirit get connected, we can do extraordinary things, and we can live in different dimension. That means the more we invest in the mind and the soul and the spirit, and the closer we are to the invisible world, and the better we can understand the visible world. I believe we get it. Um, like I said, you are working on your true self. That when you search for the truth about you as a living human being, okay, you are a full human being. That when your soul, mind, and spirit are united and live in a great harmonization. See, like I told you, that's why it is very important to get connected. That's why it is very important to know your environment. That's why it is very important to know people you invest your time. Because there is people you invest your time, you keep wasting your time. It's like you become disconnected every day. But there is people you invest your time, you become connected every day. We cannot live our life as a foolish person. We need to know because we are strong, very important a being on this planet. Because what happened if you want to put everything onto Bible perspective, we are not just be. God didn't say for mankind be. No, God take time to create, not only create, to build us. And after that, invest what God has into us, make us a living organism, a very powerful living organism. We can do extraordinary thing. It just does bad. It's like a mass, So we can do more, but we still do more. We still can do a lot as a human being when we connect to the invisible world, to our and my soul and spirit. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's why when you're my spirit, soul, those three dimensions, are really connected. We live. We live in a great harmonization. You know, we live in a great harmonization. Harmonization. What is it? Is when you truly compatible. You see, harmonization is when you truly compatible or consistent with your true self, in other words. Let's see. Harmonization is when you truly compatible or constant with your true self. In other words, you balance with your true self. Yeah, you balance. Yeah, you balance because you're not living in contradictory or with yourself. So I mean, you are not. I mean, like you balance. When you balance, that means your soul and your spirit and your mind are really united. That means you balance. You don't see sometimes. So me, what I really understand, um, whatever we do, our mind, our spirit, and our soul are united to do what we got to do. They have to be agree. As food. Yeah, because they are it's three components, etc. So you don't see sometimes you want to do something, you don't want to do something. You want to do it, you don't want to do it. I want to do that, I don't want to do that. You know what happened? Because the mind might say yes, the soul might say no, the spirit might, I don't think so. This is well what we call motivation. Sit down. When the mind, the soul, and the spirit are really united, no matter what, the spirit of motivation have to come. Because you together, you united. That's why you see people they are really motivated. They do what they got to do. They keep moving. You want to know why? Why? Because the mind, the soul, and the spirit are united. That's very important. And that's why you can become like you compatible. When you compatible with yourself, you're compatible with yourself because the mind can deal with the soul can deal with the spirit, and will become compatible. Or you consistent. You're consistent because you have a path. It's your path. So you consistent. You always do what you got to do. Why? Because the mind and the soul and the spirit are united. That's very important. Sometimes what happened? Because the mind doing stuff, you can say the mind is doing stuff according to the environment, according to the environment. Maybe your education, the mind accumulate knowledge from the school, the mind accumulate knowledge at work, in the community and the environment, or whatever it is. The mind. But when the mind, what happened to the mind? The mind mostly record stuff. That's why the mind. But what to help you to get things done, to help you motivate things, to help you do things, etc., is the soul. Because the intellect, the emotion, all sit down in the soul. That's why you get to the mind, you have to go to the soul. And the soul send it back to the mind and to process it. And the spirit is the one again who have to connect you with the invisible world. Because the invisible world is the one who have to provide for the visible world. That's why we have to do our best to be like in good mood with the mind, with the soul, and the spirit. That's why we have to get them balanced. That's why we people are troublesome. That's why we have problem. When our mind and our spirit and our soul are not united, we have to be in trouble, no matter what. We have to be in trouble. Okay, how to get them balanced? You know what? It's very easy. You put things into perspective. If you want, you can apply the strategy of King Solomon. What I mean by that, when it's time for you to walk, you walk. When it's time for you to pray, you pray. When it's time for you to tap in into spirituality, tap in into spirituality. When it's time for you to do yoga, do yoga. When it's time for you to be by yourself, stay quietly, listen to yourself, meditate, meditate. Yeah. And respect your environment. Because when you don't diminish or not being negative. Because what happened when when the mind or when the conscious is doing, because the conscious make you aware, that means you awake, you know what's going on, you know what to do, you are not sleeping. So when you keep acting negative or we keep acting negative, we create trouble for ourselves, because the subconscious is the same reason too. Sometimes when you keep acting negative, you keep acting negative more. Why? Because the subconscious is sleeping. The subconscious never reveal anything to you, because it's the subconscious will tell you, "Oh, Michelle, why you keep acting that way?" If never get, if there is never a wake up call from the subconscious, if you keep acting negative, or if I keep acting negative, I'm gonna keep acting negative, because the subconscious is the one gonna tell the conscious, I the way you are acting, you are behave is wrong. And the subconscious gonna send it not only to the mind, it will send it to the soul, because that's why your mood gonna change. The mood gonna change in the soul. That's why you will feel sad, because the soul is the place of emotion. That's why you're gonna feel sad. People gonna keep up telling you, when you feeling sad, it's gonna reflect your character, your viewpoint. The body gonna feel it. The mask gonna feel it, because you will not have a smile in your face. You're sad. And now people gonna keep asking you, what's going on? What's going on? And because the conscious keep acting negative, that affect the mind, and because it affect the mind, it will reflect the environment, because the mind is closer to the environment. Like the mind is closer to the brain. That means it's closer to the body, the mind. And now the soul, where the emotion sit down, it will reflect your face by being sad, etc. Now the spirit will stop doing his job by connecting you to the invisible world. That means the spirit is like you have a breaker. When we keep acting negative, now the breaker gonna come down, no electricity, no light. Yep. That's what happened. That's why I said it's very important for us to work on our true self. Work on your true self. Me, I want to do my best to work on my true self. To identify me, to do my best, like to respect one another in my environment, etc. Let's continue. Oh, I said like harmonization is. Harmonization is when you truly compatible or consistent with your true self. In other words, you balance with your true self. I said that you balance with your true self. That when you balance with your true self, that means the soul and the mind. So I said like when you balance with your true self, the soul and the mind and the spirit, they are really connected. Are united. They feel good to one another. And if the soul and the spirit and the mind are united, you know that the the body becomes stronger and stronger, etc. Okay, your true self will reveal what kind. Wow, that's very powerful. Your true self will reveal what kind of human being you are when your conscious, subconscious, and subconscious reach the effectiveness of your existence. Let me repeat it. Your true self will reveal what kind of human being you are when your conscious, subconscious, and subconscious reach the effectiveness of your existence. That's very important. Very, very important. We need to find out little by little or piece by piece. Yeah, your true self will reveal. That's why sometimes it takes time for your true self getting revealed. Sometimes, yeah, it takes time. For your true self get manifested. Yeah, conscience is considered as the cognitive process that can evoke emotional and rational thoughts due to the individual's moral aspect on terms of knowledge and value. I don't need to say anything about it. As a conscience is considered as the cognitive process that can evoke emotional and rational thoughts due to the individual's moral aspect on terms of knowledge and value. You see, all of that very important. It's all about what you accumulate from the environment. Because what I accumulate from the environment is gonna reveal. I have to bring it back to the environment, or for what I get them, for what I accumulate them. This is what I'm doing right now in my part. I stay school. I don't even know why. But today I can just be here and share idea and bring it back to the environment. We have to. In the same way, if I was like, doing whatever it is, so it's whatever it is now, I'm going to bring back to the environment. Because this is what I conceive. What I conceive from the environment, you get birth and go home. Bring it back and say thank you. Very important. Conscience is dealing with sympathetic central nervous system. That conscience, not conscious, conscience. There is a lot. There is conscious, there is conscience, there is consciousness, there is consciousness, there is subconscious, subconscious. There is a lot. But don't be confused. But if me, I'm not really confused, so I believe you are not. You will not. We just need to. Our brain sometimes it takes time to process things. That's why I said the mind. Sometimes people might consider the mind as one, as the brain, but for me, the mind and the brain not really different. But the mind is the essence of the brain, because the brain you can see like a gray matter, but the mind, if you're looking for the mind, you will not find it anywhere. But it's the essence. It's the essence part of mankind. It's what makes us to know what's going on etc. Yeah, conscience is dealing with sympathetic central nervous system, dealing with feeling of remorse. That conscience. Conscience is dealing like we can say like conscience dealing like with the intellect part of it's like the intellect part of mankind, but it can deal with feeling too. That's why I said that conscience and conscious mind brain they are working together, etc. Okay, let's see. I say like the whole of sympathetic nervous system like is considered as part of the automatic nervous system and as extensive network of neurons that control or regulate the body involuntary process. Uh, we have many vital functions which depend on of the sympathetic system. Like you get blood pressure, you get heart rate, you get digestion, you have urination, sexual response, you get pupillary response. Also dealing with fear and stress. So that's one is a little bit for anatomy and physiology, but it's good to say something about it. Now we have conscious. Conscious is that we need all of that in order for us to really work on our true self. Conscious is really mean you are aware about it, etc. That means you awake. When your consciousness or your conscious is active, that means you awake. If somebody call you, you can answer because you awake. But what happened? I'm gonna open that. What happened when human being we not really rest because when we are not awake or our conscious, our mind, not even mind, our conscious is sleeping in the visible world, it seems like our soul and spirit are walking in the invisible world and connect with the mind. Why I say that? Because when you see yourself when you are sleeping, you see yourself somewhere. I believe you are really there. And whatever you see, you're sleeping. If somebody call you, you cannot answer because you are sleeping. That means you're unconscious. But you're sleeping, you see yourself interact somewhere and have a dream. And where you see yourself, and when you get up in the morning, what you are doing is send the signal to your mind, and your mind record it to the brain. And you get up in the morning, you remember what you saw in your. That's why we call it dream. That means when we sleeping, when we are sleeping in the visible world, when we are sleeping in the visible world, we wake up in the invisible world. When we are wake up in the visible world, we are not really sleeping in the invisible world. Why? Because when you are in a high level, when you really working on yourself, on your true self, you living in I can say higher or in a bigger dimension, even you awake, you still can receive message. You still can communicate to to the invisible world. That's why I said you are not really sleeping in the invisible world, because you can still can receive message. You still can stay very quiet. You see that one, and you hear voice, and you receive a message so quick, so fast, and you tell you to do this, do that while you awake. So that's why I said you are not really. But in other words, when we are sleeping in the visible world, we awake in the invisible world. And when we awake in the visible world, we are not really sleeping in the invisible world. The only way we can be sleeping in the invisible world, that when the mind, the soul, and the spirit are not united. And because the spirit will always holy, will always there, will never be in trouble. So you get like sad, and you can arrive in a certain level, the breaker cut off. Because the spirit doesn't just cut it that. No. You keep acting negative. You don't want to, okay, let's say you don't want your mind and spirit so live in a quick harmonization. So what happened? The spirit is lower. That's why the spirit is like a light. You don't see the light have some volume, or you can put it higher, you become lighter, brighter. And now it bright, a little bright down, bright down, until you can see pitch, the light cut off. When the light cut off, it will take a lot to reconnect it. You may not even get connected. You know, if the spirit gone, and the soul will ready to go too. But when the soul is ready to go too, and that's why we have what we call death, etc. Oh, why? Let's go. Wow. Let's go. Thanks God. I said like conscious is really mean you are aware, or you aware, etc. about it. That's why, yeah, because when your conscious is active, that's why sometimes things happen. The incident happen. Thing happen like the incident happen. The incident, when the incident happen, when we do something, because we acknowledge about etc. When we do something, it can be purposeful. It can be knowing. It can be calculated. It can be intended. And it can be mindful. Do I need to explain? No. We understand what that really means. When you do something mindful, you do it with all of your mind. No. I mean, you know what you're doing. That's not something you do with unconscious. Intended, you plan it, etc. Calculated, you plan it, etc. Knowing, because your conscious was active, you know what it's about. Purposeful, you do that purposely. Oh, human being, we are very complicated, but not really. It just we need to work on our true self, and we move forward. Consciousness can help us discover, or can help you discover your internal and external aspect of your existence. Consciousness. That's very important. Can help us discover our internal and external aspect of our existence. Internal is like when we walk in the mind, when we walk in the soul, when we walk in the spirit. Because the internal is very important. Because it's what we have like internal. When we bring it external, people really analyze and see who we really are. That's why sometimes you don't need to say I'm a good person. It's the community gonna say that you are a good person. That's why you might say you blaspheme. You don't need to say, I'm a good man, I'm a good person, I'm a good husband, or I'm a good wife. I'm a good teacher. No, the student gonna say if you are a good teacher. Oh my God, you don't need to say I provide great customer service. No, this the customer. Some title you don't even need to give it to yourself. If you give it to yourself, you justify. Let the environment. Is the environment gonna give it to you? That's why we have to work in our internal aspect of our existence. We work on that. That when we work in our soul, promote the soul. Because the soul is a place for emotion, is a place for intellect, is a place for prosperity in any level, spiritual prosperity, maybe material prosperity, etc. But the soul gonna help you to produce that. When you see probably somebody, like a great singer, that person can sing with his or her soul. It's a gift. All the gifts, oh mercy, thanks God. All the gifts get manifested in the soul. Etc. Oh, your consciousness can help us to discover your internal and external aspect of our existence. Internal, what about external aspect? The external aspect is gonna base on your environment, in your community, what you accumulate to. Your external, who is your it's gonna base on your husband and your wife and your kids and your people in your environment, your business, your whatever it is, etc. It's external. It's outside of you. Yes. Or remember, we have subconscious. Subconscious can bother your conscience about an action. For instance, they share something, you get your part, and you want more. You see? They share something, you get your part, and you want more. But your conscience may bother you in order to be aware of your guilt. Exactly when they share stuff and you want more, and there are people who doesn't have none. You have 3, 4, 5 in your hands, and there is people, their hands are empty. And you have 5. So you keep for 4 other people. In that situation, if your subconscious is not sleeping, the subconscious will give you a wake-up call telling the conscience you're not supposed to act that way, etc. Oh, why this? We almost done. Wow, we almost done. Subconscious it moves to inner the sense of what is right and what is wrong. Subconscious dealing with ethical and moral principles of life. Maybe that part is very nice. Let's repeat it one more time. Yeah. Subconscious dealing with ethical or moral principles of life. Example, action or thoughts as human, self-knowledge, etc. Subconscious dealing with consciousness, self-knowledge, while consciousness, that's another one. Self-knowledge. Let me back to the point. In self-knowledge, it could be like when you learn by yourself. There are people who they learn by themselves. They learn a lot of stuff by themselves. There are people that only what they give them at school, they get more. They get more. They become like self-learner, etc. They call them that way. And some people too, they are connected. They are really connected to an invisible world, and they receive knowledge. Let me drink some water. Thank you. That video, I believe, is a blessing. So we're chatting like very peacefully. Or okay, dealing our subconscious, dealing with consciousness, like self-knowledge. It's like self-knowledge is the knowledge that really reflects you, etc. Or you learn things by yourself and you learn things like from there. Okay, while consciousness, you will be aware of something, awareness of something, having knowledge of existence of something, etc. Subconscious, it may consider as part of the mind which cannot fully be aware of an action, but can still influence one's actions and feeling. You see, that's why I say subconscious, not only it can send signal to the mind, but it sends signal to the soul. Because that's a like feeling, emotion, they reside, or you can find them in the soul. Can I say the subconscious is like a coach, or it's like an advisor? I don't know. Because the advisor doesn't need to be participate in what you are doing, but his job or her job is just to advise you. If I were you, I act that way. Or the way you did act that was not good. He's just there to advise you. And after that, he or she cross her hands. Yes. Dealing with action and feeling. That's why when the emotion when things happen, affect the soul, and the subconscious send the message to the soul, and the feeling, you can see if the feeling is a negative feeling, you will see the two emotion. You will see the person being sad. If the feeling is a positive feeling, you will see the person happy and smile, etc. Whatever what the feeling is about, or etc. And the conscious can be aware of an action, while the subconscious doesn't know, or it is not aware of it. However, the subconscious can target the guilt of the conscious for any action, positive or negative. Yeah, the subconscious is like like an advisor. He's there just to alert. Let's put it that way. Just to alert what's going on inside of us. Yeah, we're about to finish. Working on your true self, that's very important. I want to do my best to work on my on my on my true self. That's very important, because when you're working on your true self, you will find yourself. And when you find yourself, you have a truly a peace of mind, a peace of soul, and a peace of spirit. Yes, that's very important for us as a human being to work on our true self. I have to know me. I have to know who I am. I have to know where I come from. And it is important for me to know where I will go, what is next for me. Do I really somebody just eating, drinking, working, being happy, being sad, fighting, loving, hating, being good, being bad? That's all of that. Now, what is the purpose for us to be on this planet? For me, I believe we are here to grow. Listen to that. For me, I believe we are here to grow. We came from in one dimension. We are living here in another dimension, so we can transfer to a higher dimension. But the higher dimension, we hope, when we are living in that dimension right here on this planet Earth, we need to walk. We need to prepare that future. Because what happened? This body we have is an envelope. We're gonna leave it here. Yeah, let me tell you that. We found that body here. We're gonna leave it here. But what we do with that body, it will represent and it will appear as true human being when I move to the other dimension. That's why whatever I do here is matter, positive or negative. That's why we need to work in our true self. Because whatever we do with that body, in that body, on this planet, it will determine and it will reveal when we move to the next dimension. That's why we don't need to take anything for granted. Do our best to work on ourselves. Love yourself. I always say love yourself. You love yourself. That when you start invest in yourself for yourself. If you don't want to invest anything in yourself, anything for yourself, you can claim you don't love yourself. Very important. Being positive in your community. Love your kids. Love your wife. Love your husband. Love your friend. Keep your dignity. tapping into spirituality. Because the front lobe, the front lobe, there is part of spirituality. That's why sometimes you feel sad. Sometimes we might feed the body and we don't feed anything to the mind, to the soul. Because the mind and the soul, they are two which can move the spirit. Because the spirit doesn't have nothing to do. Because the spirit is very sensitive. It will not be in a negative thing with us. When we do negative stuff, the spirit is not there. And we need the spirit because the spirit is the one who connects us. Is the one who connects us to the invisible world, the spirit. And the spirit is the one, the spirit and the soul and the mind, they are the one who are going to move to the next dimension. That's why when we are here, we need to do our best to live positive, act positive, to promote ourselves for the next dimension. I'm about to leave you right now. Soon you will get another video, and it's a pleasure for me to share my heart, my love, my experience, my understanding, whatever I know from the visible and invisible world. Remember, there is two worlds parallel we are living. We can't deny visible world, invisible world. The invisible world is the one who provides, control, etc. Anything in the visible world. That's why we need to get connected. And to get connected, we have to work on our true selves. What I share is not about Christian or non-Christian. I am a Christian, but what I share is not about Christian, it's not about non-Christian. It's about human being. We need to sort in our existence. We need to find out if we are living or if we are exist. If we live or if we exist. We need to find out, are we really a product from our mother and our dad? Eat, drink, fight, love, hate, do whatever good or bad, and after that, buried inside that planet womb and everything of it. I don't think so. There is more. Our mom and dad, and for me, the invisible world is like when I open my computer screen, I got information there. If I book down my computer, I will not see the information. But when I have a printer, I have a piece of paper, I can say the printer is my mother, the ink is my father. The information I have in my computer, when I print it out, the paper, for me, is the substance, the material, so I see what I got from the computer. But the printer and the ink just have the information point out, while the printer and the computer, no, the printer and the ink just help the computer print the information out. But the computer, the printer, the printer and the ink sometimes doesn't have nothing to do with the computer. Just the computer, the printer, and the ink work for the computer. You see? That's why for example, when you look at the information, you see it, but guess what? The information you see in the computer is visible and invisible at the same time. Because if you open the computer, you can see what you see. But the only way you can see it, you can touch it, really, that's when you print it out. The process of technology we have computer to printer to ink is a truly example from the invisible and visible world, etc. And is that enough? I will see you in another video. Have a great day. This is your friend Jean-Baptiste Michelet. But the only thing you have to know, working on your true self, that's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be beneficial, not only in the dimension we are living here, it will be beneficial in the next dimension we will need to live. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.